Hello other worldies, this is Queen Juliana, your dark mask diva. So, I hate to break it to you, it's mid-May. That's right guys, we are in breakup season. I was talking to a lady on Reddit, and she was talking about this really needy friend who will keep her on the phone for, I'm dead serious, 4 hours at a time. Yes, this guy keeps her on the phone for 4 hours at a time. Alright, that's not the worst part of it. This lady and her boyfriend have just broken up. Like I said, it's breakup season. A lot of people are breaking up right now. Mid-May, okay? It's going to be happening for the next about 3 months now, okay? This friend is needy, keeps her on the phone for hours. She's trying to process her breakup with her long-term boyfriend, okay? She asked me what to do. First of all, I was like, this guy keeps you on the phone for 4 hours. She's like, yeah, 4 hours. So I said, alright, what's this guy's level of damage? And she said, well, he's a cool guy. He's otherwise a really fun friend. And he's pretty much pushed all of his other friends away with his neediness. And I'm thinking, not surprised. And he just is trying to get back with his boyfriend and wants to talk about it constantly, all the time, about his breakup. How he's trying to get this guy back. She said that she cannot process her breakup because this guy will not stop talking about how much he wants to get his boyfriend back. Now the thing is, she said that she suspects this guy is a narcissist. Well, yeah, because he just needs constant attention. He needs to talk about getting this guy back for 4 hours. Keeps her on the phone for 4 hours. Okay, here's what happens when you break up with somebody. You need to not talk to somebody else about their breakup for 4 hours, for one thing. You need this thing that is called me time. Okay. Now, everybody needs me time, okay, whether you've broken up with somebody or not. Me time is something that every person needs, but especially somebody who's going through something rough. Me time is something that people need if they work long hours, or they're raising a special needs child, or do they have a special stressor in their life. Me time is something that you need to just kind of help you get through things, okay? Like you take yourself to the movies, or you do something to treat yourself, okay? Because you're really just kind of doing a lot of heavy lifting in life, okay? So me time is something that you're rewarding yourself with, that you're helping, you're really just treating yourself to something, you know, like you're getting your nails done or something like that. That's what me time is, okay? This guy is just taking up all of her free time that she needs to collect herself after, you know, the devastation of losing her significant other, okay? You know, and when I say losing your significant other, yeah, it wasn't a death or anything like that, but it was the loss of a relationship. Okay, we need to be able to process our breakups. If we don't, we're not going to be able to move on and be with somebody else. We're not going to be able to move on and function. We're not going to be able to move on and recoup our self-esteem. Okay, we're not going to be able to process things, and we're not going to be able to concentrate on our jobs and be emotionally present for other people. We're not going to be able to be emotionally present for ourselves. My last relationship, it took me 3 years to straighten myself out before I got into the relationship I'm in now. I had a lot to do to work on myself before I could be in the relationship I'm in now. And you know what? I'm really glad. I'm really glad I took that time out to work on myself. Okay, so I needed a long time to really, you know, fix myself. Okay, so I don't think it takes most people 3 years, but I had a lot of inner work to do, right? There were a lot of things I wanted to do to change myself before I went on, because I thought this next relationship I get into, I don't want it to be another using a guy as a placeholder. I don't want it to, be another convenient relationship. I don't want it to be, any more nonsense. I want to really be with somebody I care about. I really want to make a future with somebody. I don't want any more nonsense in my life. So I really want to be the me that I'm supposed to be. So I really wanted to work on myself, right? So I think that we need this time to get over whatever happened, figure out what we were doing wrong, and be able to process the grief of breaking up and and just basically figure out what went wrong. All right, some people, I didn't have to do this, but some people have to go to therapy and get closure. Because sometimes when you break up with someone, this didn't happen with me, but sometimes that person ghosts you, or they don't tell you what you did wrong. You know what I mean? They just, they break up or they say they need space or something. I know I talked about that in other shows, where people lie to you and say they want to take a break or they need space, or, they're usually just seeing somebody else. I mean, that didn't happen to me, but I just knew that the relationship I was in was just a bunch of nonsense, and I really needed to, invest in myself and the person that I'm with and not have any more, silly nonsense going on. This lady, she needs to just quit talking to this other person all the time, and she needs to grieve. She needs to grieve the loss of the future she thought she was going to have with this guy, and, the time she felt like she wasted, and that kind of thing. And she said she doesn't feel like she can just tell this guy to leave her alone so she can process what's going on. And I said, well, if you think he is a narcissist, which if he needs all that attention, there is some narcissism present. If somebody needs that much attention, okay, if somebody does need all that attention, yes, there is some narcissism present. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to probably have to make up a story. First of all, you're going to have to stop answering the phone. You're going to have to stop answering his texts. If he knocks on the door, you're going to have to knock at the door. Don't get his emails, okay? Like, you're just going to have to basically, just text him and say, hey, I'm doing this, okay? What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to make up a story about an imaginary person. And it's going to have to be an elderly relative who needs your help. Okay, it's going to have to be a believable story, and it's going to have to be an imaginary relative, because it can't be somebody who's going to tell on you. Okay, it has to be a believable story, and it has to be something that you can make up so nobody can prove the story wrong. You have to say, my elderly Aunt Sarah needs me to do X, Y, and Z, and I need to go over to, and it has to be, a long time-consuming trip where you have to do all these things and have to spend all this time helping your elderly Aunt Sarah or your grandma or whoever it is, and this person is very old and they're very helpless, and you have to do all these things for them. It's very time-consuming. So that way, this person gets about 5 minutes of your time, and that's it. Okay, what you're really doing is you're really just sitting on the couch, or you're sitting by the water, or you're building something, or you're drawing, or you're painting, or you're lifting weights, or you're walking a dog, or you're doing something like that. You're doing something that's good for you and therapeutic. You could just be crying. I mean, you could be doing anything, but whatever you're doing, you're not listening to this guy and his problems, okay? You're doing something that's helping you think about what was going on and figuring things out and figuring yourself out, okay? You don't have to talk to your ex. In fact, don't talk to your ex, okay? It's possible you can even work things out with your ex. But I mean, even if you don't, you're still processing, because there's stages of grief, okay? You're going to have to go through all of those stages. You're going to have to sit with your feelings. If you're talking to this time-consuming person, you're not going to be able to sit with your feelings. All right, sitting with your feelings is a time-consuming process that you're going to have to go through your life and go through those stages and sit with feelings. And sometimes that's all you can do is just sit with the feelings, okay? And the feelings are going to come out without this guy distracting you. So you'll have to take up a hobby. And maybe all you're doing is cleaning your house. Okay, maybe all you're doing, you're doing the laundry, you're vacuuming, you're just doing whatever, but you're just not on the phone with this guy all the time. The thing about the phone is it can be a horrible distraction. I tell my viewers, stay off the phone. Because that's one of the ways that these energy vampires get us, is they try to get us off the phone, and you're like, yeah, I have to go, okay, bye, and they just keep, So that's one of the things I do, is I tell people to stay off the phone, because that's the way that people tie us up and rob us of our greatest gift in life, which is time, okay? And once somebody takes your time away, you can never get it back. All right, and that is what people try to rob us of, is our time. All right, that is our most valuable asset. So one way to not waste time is to just really stay off the telephone. Okay, whether it's a landline, whether it's your cell phone, whether it's texting or talking, especially if it's talking. Okay, talking is worse than texting, because texting, you can ignore a text. Okay, or someone will be left on read and go, I'm really sorry, I'm very busy right now, and you can just let it go. But if they're talking, you're like, yeah, and you can't get a word in edgewise. Okay, so you really need to just be able to not be on the phone. Are you listening to me? And these kind of people lack empathy. They don't care if you need to emotionally process things, because the only thing that really matters to them is them. All right? You're only a listening ear to them. All right? You're not a human being who deserves time to process your own feelings and your own grief. All right? So you need to stop feeling bad about the fact that you have needs too. So eventually you're probably going to need to completely disengage from this person, because you really, deserve the right to your own feelings, and you need to be able to get over what's happened. All right, so you need to be able to move on with your life, have another relationship, or it's okay to be single as well. But these kinds of people, if you need to make up some kind of elaborate story about an imaginary old person you need to take care of, if that's what you need to do, they are not going to accept that you need to take care of yourself. Okay, and that's just one of those things about life. It's okay to tell a fib about. It's okay to make up a story like that. And do not make the story up about a real person. You have to invent an imaginary person. And if they go, I never heard of that person before, gaslight them. Yeah, I talk about them all the time. I've mentioned her before. Oh my gosh. I talk about her all the time. What are you talking about? Totally gaslight them. This is a narcissist we're talking about. You don't need to be like all righteous all of a sudden. No, gaslight them. Say you've mentioned her before. This is a person who's robbing you of your time and not letting you heal, okay? So don't feel bad about making something up. Seriously. This is somebody who's not letting you get better. So if you have to make stuff up, make stuff up. Okay, don't feel bad about it. And I talked to, the lady on Reddit, and she's like, that's a really good idea. I said, I know. I mean, we need to learn, we need to learn a few little, tricks to get around these people, because, and not feel bad about it. Okay, because we gotta, don't play fair in an unfair world. Okay, so that's what I need to say about that. And I hope that you can assert yourself in that situation and make up a story if you need to make up a story. Okay, and you really do need me time, whether you're going through a breakup or not. You need me time. And make up any kind of story if you need to make up a story. All right, because that person's not paying attention to your life anyway. Trust me, they aren't. They aren't. They don't care what's going on in your life. So if you come up with some imaginary relative, they were not paying attention in the first place, trust me. Okay? Alright, this is Queen Juliana, your Dark Mask Diva. Otherworldlies, you have a beautiful life, and I will see you in the next content. Bye-bye.